Welcome to another day in the Matrix. This is Waters Above, wishing you all an incredible start to your week, sending you all love and gratitude. And since it's that time of the year and I've had so many people reach out to me about Black Friday, I decided to run a sale on my courses for this week, so I'll let you know about all those details for that discount in a moment. And as many of you are aware, it's been a choppy market for the past couple weeks as we've anticipated since this lunar eclipse on November 8th. Of course, we had the FTX ritual happen exactly on that day and everything else that started to unfold since then, which I covered in my last video, so definitely check out the FTX ritual decoded if you haven't already. And in today's video, I'm going to share what I'm anticipating as we transition into December and what to expect for the crypto market in the short term. And as I mentioned earlier, I'm currently running a sale on my courses for Black Friday. So if you're interested in learning how to invest and utilizing my strategies of combining Gematria, Numerology, and Astrology with technical analysis, how to build and maintain your portfolio, read the charts, and develop your own exit strategy, that's all covered in my Crypto Mastermind course. And for those of you that tune into my live streams and you resonate with what we're chatting about over there, then you'd probably be interested in my newest expansion mastermind. That's my coaching course where I mentor you through everything from mindset to health and wellness, covering detoxification and fasting, as well as practical applications to expand your consciousness and develop more discipline in your focus so that you can get back your attention and start investing your attention towards your purpose. And I'll actually be releasing a new chapter in this course called Skill Mastery during this week. So you could look forward to a brand new course lesson that'll teach you how to develop a new skill more effectively or refine a skill set that you are already working on, along with strategies to leverage on your skills to even start your own business. So this expansion mastermind is definitely my best work to date, and I've been getting incredible feedback on it, so I appreciate everyone who's invested in this course. I designed it in a way to make you feel like I'm walking you through it directly and coaching you directly through every step of the process and keeping you accountable along the way with accountability tasks in each chapter. So it's a very interactive course. And lastly, if you already know how to read the charts and do technical analysis and you're interested in learning how to actively trade this market, I have this advanced trading course available as well. All of these courses are on sale now for Black Friday at watersabove.com/Black Friday, and you can use the promo code Black Friday at checkout. The promo code Black Friday is written as one word and all lowercase, and you could find the discount information in the description of this video and in the pinned comment below. I really appreciate all of your support. So with that being said, let's take the red pill. Now, we're going to be getting into some dates, of course, to start things off. Today is the new moon of the 23rd of November, so we saw the market do a little bit of a dip a couple days ago. Let's just quickly revisit that in the charts. We could see right here on the 21st of November, we got a red candle, but then quickly bought back up right into the new moon. And this is something the Wolfpack was expecting because we know that new moons have more of a bullish energy. And when we think of this, it's more of like a micro cycle. So we know we had a bigger move down into this full moon, which was also an eclipse, and that's kind of why we were anticipating a bigger correction in the market, which we got. And if you've been paying attention to my last 3 or 4 videos, you already have a lot of insight into how these eclipses work. And if you're brand new here, welcome to the Wolfpack. It's so great to have you with us. Definitely go check out like my last 4 or 5 videos. It's really going to fill you in on a lot of what's happening here, especially my last video regarding FTX. So we're getting a little bit of relief today. It is the new moon, and this is after that fake out on the 21st. A couple things about the 21st. We could quickly see the standard date numerology giving us an 11. The 11 is a master number that I associate with a restart. It's the 1 and 1, the 2 towers, Yakin and Boaz. So another thing is the day following up, so that'll be tomorrow. We have some connections here to the lunar eclipse, so I'm just going to quickly type this in, 11/8, and we're going to see that tomorrow it's going to be 2 weeks and 2 days since the eclipse. So that is important to take note of, because we have another master number, the 22. It's the master builder, master destroyer number, and I associate the 22 with the reset. So this date is also important tomorrow because it's a 77 date numerology. This is one of the formats that I like to do my date numerology in, not only the standard date numerology before reduction, but also double digits. And you can see right there, it's giving you that 77, just like we had with Rosh Hashanah, which we've been talking about now for the past almost 2 years. And we could see that match with the 77s. That's definitely an important number. Also, if you wanted to get even more esoteric and look at this number with 37 days left in the year, that's 3-7, or the 3 sevens, and that's 777, which is the jackpot number. We know that reduces to 21, and that 21 ties us back to Saturn. And again, another big part of this whole year, because we're in the post-Shemitah time frame, called the Jubilee. And definitely, if you're a Patreon supporter of mine, there's a video called The Jubilee Decoded, and I started to have people reach out to me again recently, because I came out with that quite a while ago, and they're like, wow, Waters, I can't believe the way that this November timeframe turned out compared to when you released that video and shared your insights. And it had everything to do with leaving the Shemitah energy and moving into those 2 eclipses that we had in late October, that solar eclipse, into the early November lunar eclipse, and how we pivoted into Q4, and that being in the time frame of the Jubilee. So go check that out if you haven't. It's packed with insights. So another thing about tomorrow is it is Thanksgiving, and it's predominantly only celebrated in the United States, but that does mean that the New York Stock Exchange will be closed for the holiday, and crypto will be trading alone. Then the stock market will reopen back up for its weekly close this Friday. So anticipate that as we are trading through today, leading into the stock market just having a little intermission for the holiday and then coming back in on Friday, that's obvious that we're going to have some volatility this week, right? So a couple last things to mention before we move on to the TA. We have the 28th and the 29th of November definitely being important, being that the 28th leaves 33 days left in the year, another master number, the number of transmutation. And then we have following that the 29th, which is the 333rd day of the year. It's a very powerful number. This is the number that I associate with the Ascended Master. Now, just consider all of this as we're approaching the monthly close leading into December, and this time frame is pretty much all packed with ritual holidays. We're going to be transitioning into mid-December quite soon with Saturnalia, and I'll be covering that more as we get closer. For right now, it's important we just focus on the short term, and with the 33 days left in the year on the 28th, followed by the 333rd day of the year, in this specific year where it's the 222 year, that's definitely something to keep in mind. So just consider that, pay attention to some of that. And a thing to mention built off of this is this date of the 29th. It's just outside of our average window of plus or minus 5 days from a lunar cycle. So if you're brand new to my work, we use the lunar cycle to be able to determine the microcycle energy. So that means around a new moon, either 5 days before the new moon or 5 days after the new moon is typically a bullish energy. And the same thing goes with the full moon. 5 days before up to 5 days after the full moon, there is a bearish energy. And it doesn't mean that we have to make new lows or all time. It's just tracking it month by month. And it's a really amazing swing trading indicator that I've shared with the world a couple years ago. And just the feedback that I get on that alone has been immense. Like my last interview that I had with Zach Rector, and shout out to Zach for having me on his channel, and I'm really grateful for him having me on, and I can't wait to connect with him again. But he told me in the beginning of the interview that he was using the moon cycles and just getting it from the information in my YouTube videos, and he was able to double his portfolio while trading just with the moon cycle. So that was beautiful to hear from another person who's a leader in the in the crypto space. So if he's using it with the way his life is going, which is, I can imagine, quite busy, then anyone who's brand new to trading, it really expedites your ability to start making trades without too much of a guessing game. And as I said moments ago, in my crypto mastermind course, it's going to be a beginner to intermediate level course teaching you everything. It even goes over the lunar cycles, and it goes over how to utilize all of that with some very basic TA. And this is the building blocks and the fundamentals for you to be able to kickstart your portfolio in this new cycle that we're in right now and actually get a leg up on the retail. This will allow you to actually build a sophisticated investment thesis. So that way the next couple years for you are smooth sailing. So let me get back to just finishing up on the dates. We could tell these couple dates are going to be interesting, but because this is right outside of the 5-day window of the new moon, I'm considering it more into that full moon energy. And we just kind of have to see, because this is a pivot time frame. With the full moon being on the 8th, that would be 5 days earlier, leading you to about the 3rd of December. So essentially between the 29th and the 3rd of December, it's in, kind of limbo. So I would not be surprised, actually, if we saw movement to the upside into the next full moon and then had a correction. And I'll get into that when I get into the TA, just to really give you guys as many scenarios as possible. So essentially, after this bigger sell-off that we've had in the crypto market with a slight rebound around this current new moon time frame, let me just show you. And when you consider this with the stock market, particularly the Dow Jones is getting into overbought territory leading into the holiday, and the DXY, the US dollar currency index, has started to rebound off the recent sell-off. All of this kind of adds up to me to another downside opportunity for the crypto market for the December full moon, as I just showed you before, the full moon in December 8th. So I'll be actually sharing a decode very soon over on Patreon about this upcoming full moon and some amazing date connections that I found. So stay tuned for that if you're a Patreon supporter. And if you're interested in joining the Mastermind community membership over on Patreon, you could sign up at any time at patreon.com/watersabove. I really appreciate your support, and you're going to be unlocking immediately so many red pill podcasts that I've done in the past. You'll get access to our Discord server, as well as my Livestream Archive if you're somebody that's been wanting to go back and watch the prior live streams. So let's get into this chart that we're looking at right now with Bitcoin. You can see that I do have a little bit of a bear pennant that was drawn out. This is not a symmetrical triangle, it's just a bear pennant. We have a bearish momentum down into a pattern that's only about 9 days. And as we got to the apex of the pattern, we did start to fall out of it bearish, but we have a clean double bottom. Even though the daily close on this particular chart did come in at a lower low, this is a typical fake out. And that's why I do not like trading pennants. Pennants are not safe with flags, depending on getting into like 2 to 3 weeks deep on the flag itself, or actual triangles, which I would consider 2 to 3 weeks of data. Those are a lot more effective. So getting into what's happening here, we had a fake out and then a buyback. And this to me is not looking that great, because we could easily convert this bear pennant into a bear flag. And this doesn't look beautiful, guys. But remember, we're in crypto right now, and we just had another leg to the downside, all for a big ritualistic time frame of the eclipse. So I wouldn't be calling this, because you could even consider this like a descending falling wedge. You could get as creative as you want. I'm not really huge on patterns, even though I excel at the patterns and trading them effectively. I just don't like getting them into them too much on YouTube videos, because this is a huge audience, and I know that simple is what's going to give everyone the best results. So this doesn't actually simplify anything. It just adds way too much more to our minds, and that's what can make some awful trades for people. I love the lunar cycle and Wyckoff method and looking at horizontal trading ranges. That's what's helped me actually become sustainable and long-term with my overall thesis. So there could be something to be said here about this falling trend line of rejections. You could just call this our resistance at this time, and it's pretty clean. If we wanted to break it down to like 4-hour candles, you might be able to see a little cleaner, and you could see this is a pretty good this is a pretty good trend line. So technically, we would like to see breakouts on the 4-hour, maybe backtest and continue, but I actually want to see breaks of these moves back here. The reason is this was the break that sent us down to the next leg lower. So that puts us around 18.5. And until we're going to actually close like 12-hour candles above 18,000, I really don't care. This is still falling, and you never want to try catching a falling knife. So I'm going to let this play out. The wolf pack is patient right now. We're letting this market come to us. I think it's important that people realize the power behind being patient and calm, which is something that I've been instilling in my community now for the past 2 years. How important it is to be aware of dates very far in advance so you could respond to those dates when they happen. But more importantly, you're responding to it with a clear head and without being in your emotions. This allows you to make decisions that are really, really profound and could be life-changing. So I'm just going to let this play out the way it is. The only thing that I could say is until we get daily closes above like 17, there's a little bit of an opportunity to make it up to about 18, but ultimately I would like to see 18.5 or more. Otherwise, we're just trapped in this bottom. And the reason is this red trend line right here, this horizontal line at around 19,000. Anything below 19,000 is just playing and filling out these lower levels. Having this little shakeout, fake out to the downside a couple days ago is what we would call a bear trap, getting people thinking that we're going to immediately go down now, but the wolf pack knew about the new moon. So you never want to trade, shorts into new moons. It's just not the way to go. And it's sad that I've seen a lot of people fall for that. But we were aware of the moon cycle and the power of it. It really helps. So that is the analysis on Bitcoin, and regarding upside and potential recovery, I don't really think that's in the cards at this moment. Above 19 is very unlikely before building out some support in the 16,000 region or even going lower. And I have to admit, I have more of a bias to the downside, and my bias to the downside fits into a recent set of analysis that I released on my Red Pill podcast this week, which, by the way, if you're interested in ISO 222 and the projects regarding the compliant ISO coins, I just released part 2 of the ISO 222 in my recent Red Pill podcast. And I went over all of this stuff regarding more downside for Bitcoin, but it aligns with a fib pull from the prior all-time high in December 2017 down to the bear market low. This will be your buying climax into your selling climax. And you could see where we got our automatic rally rejection. That would be a key level for us to come back to because we've been just retesting the blow off top of 2017. So getting back into that region and filling all that out would not be weird, but just remember that if we do it, it's fast. It's a really fast move, and it could be completed by early January and completely recovered by March. So that's not a lot of time when you think about it. So keep that in mind. If we're going to make another leg lower, that pretty much puts us into the typical 80% correction for Bitcoin. If you were to think, even going down to 13,600. Now, there are people who are adamant about this idea of us going substantially lower. That's fine. Anything is possible in the matrix. But as a technical analyst and a professional trader, I'm not going to talk that way just yet. We need to see things happen in sequence. So the sequence here is we need to get to 13 in order for us to even consider an idea below 10. And considering that we look back at this time frame, this was a crown top distribution that led into the sell-off of Rosh Hashanah of 2020, something that I was covering back when I made my Mastermind course. This was a SOS, sign of strength, followed by a backup phase, which led to a parabolic run. So we were getting those supports coming in at 10, and the idea of us going lower than 10 is highly unlikely, especially with this being the bottom of the golden pocket, the 618 of the last fib pull. So if anything, the 702 is in the cards, but we're talking about wicks. Like we're talking about very, very quick moments. And that's my analysis. I'm not being emotional with that analysis. I'm looking at the charts. I'm looking at the data. And right now, us swiping to 14 would even be a gift. For us to get back to 14, that would really be a gift for crypto investors. It's going to send a lot of altcoins down, potentially another 40% from where they are right now. It's going to be a beautiful buying opportunity. So I'm super optimistic about us going another leg lower and that being an amazing time for us to start really considering rebuilding portfolios and dollar cost averaging over the long term. So let's move into ETH and then we'll wrap up this video. So ETH, we have a couple things going on. This is a little bit of a messy chart, so let me move to this one. Boom, I like this one a lot. So it's just showing you a couple of trading ranges. This was our bigger trading range. When I mean bigger, it's just a larger area of volatility. And then we have a tighter one over here, which once we fell through those supports, we broke down back into the older trading range. And since then, ETH has been holding strong. So ETH actually looks better structurally than Bitcoin, but we still see the same thing going on, which is a sequence of lower highs. So the trend is still not necessarily looking that great. Now we have a low and a higher low until ETH can actually break above 1700 on daily closes. This is not a reversal. So this is just a continuation of the downtrend overall going back to the prior all-time high. Nothing to see here, guys. So I'm letting people know that it's really still opportunity time for ETH, and the difference between where it is now and it going below 1,000 again could happen in a single day, as it tends to do as an altcoin. Keep that in mind, because if ETH rolls over again for another leg down, that's going to send the entire crypto market, the altcoin market, another leg down. And even with some of the volatility we're seeing kick in with Binance and CZ being in conversation, especially lately since what happened with SBF and with the FTT token and the FTX exchange. I mean, you still have the narrative being built in the background to give rhyme and reason for more downside. You know, it's very, very easy for them to just come out and swing whatever nonsense over on Twitter and the mainstream media, but watch it be on the next full moon. You know, that's always how it works. And I'm not saying that to make a joke out of this. I'm just saying that it's become so predictable for us over here, because of this knowledge and awareness we have of the esoteric applications of the market. Now, getting back into these levels, really all you have on the downside is 1,000, which is a psychological level. And then on the upside, you have this clean resistance level, which was a prior support, but only for about a month. And now if we're coming back into 1,250 and we're getting rejections, that's not a great sign. As well as even if we were to pop into this prior trading range and get to 1,360, it's not anything to, be throwing a party over, because it would just be another lower high. Again, keep that in mind that we're just still on the downtrend. At this time, I am seeing more downside opportunity for ETH. If ETH can hold the $1,000 on the next move for Bitcoin, that would be incredible. And $1,000 ETH, I think, is a really solid place to be. So the difference between 1,000 and 1,200 and all of that over the next 3 years is irrelevant. For those that have a really long-term investment thesis, which I hope you have, then all of this is kind of just minuscule movements. But for those of you that are tracking the market week to week as we are and keeping up with it in the way that we are, there's still opportunity here. That's kind of what I want to let people know, because what happens when we have these bigger corrections in the market is the people that are following along, sometimes they don't take action, and then they start to get worried, and then they want to FOMO when there's little recoveries like you see along the way. And here, my work is about keeping you calm and keeping you focused, all right? So I'm just saying that I do see more opportunity in this upcoming full moon, as well as the full moon of the new year into January. We'll get into that in later videos. So 1,000 to the downside, we have about 1,250 the upside. Holding those would keep our conditions. And if we see Bitcoin roll over below that 15,000 range, that would probably facilitate ETH to take a new low in this cycle, somewhere breaking $800. Now let's get to XRP really quickly before we move on. There's not a whole lot to say about XRP here because it's following the same conditions of the last video that I put out, but I just want to share this because I know we have a big membership here of people that follow along XRP and have big positions in XRP, and I talked a lot about it in my last podcast over on Patreon, the red pill that was dedicated to ISO 222, and I was talking about how it's my number one position out of all the ISO coins, and it will probably be my second biggest position by the end of 2023. So I have a very long-term thesis on XRP. As you know, I've been covering it week by week. I cover it in every podcast and every YouTube video, and I do see it being a major player on the world stage, as it already is. But my thesis is more of a short-term trader on it, and I do have a long-term bag. And we've been making calls on this coin now for over a year and a half on this channel, and it's just been beautiful to watch so many of these things play out, like this Bart Simpson pattern that I called out before it occurred. There's just been so many of these moments. The 56 or 55 cent target that I shared before it happened, that was just some weeks ago leading into the end of the Shemitah. So please keep up with the videos and take notes. And I know that I get to XRP late in the video, but if you're dedicated to learning, invest your attention in this stuff, because this is free content for you guys. So getting back to the levels, it's clear here that we're trapped in that lower trading range, and that's not that great. Bouncing around these levels down to 31 cents again, trapped at 38. And the fact that this trend line is just getting steeper and steeper, and this has been the best trend line I've had in all of my career of doing crypto. It's not about being perfect on the touch points. It's about overall trend, and the fact that every time we extend above this trend line, we've corrected in a new lower low. All right. So here you can see every time we get extended, we can actually head lower in the structure. And that really showed itself off leading into May of 2022, followed by June. And now we've had a little bit of a recovery stage, so to say, but the trend line is really, really getting steep now. And I think by the new year, we're going to break away from this trend line for good. So that's positive news. It could be something like this, where like maybe we have another leg and then we break out of it and actually start to back test the outside of it. And that would be the first for XRP, because even when it starts to back test it a little bit, it just goes another leg lower. Getting back to the short term, I do see if Bitcoin rolls over again, we're probably going to have an opportunity for a sub 30 cent XRP. So that would be a beautiful buying opportunity. I'll personally be taking action on that. And as for movement to the upside, until we're getting above 53 cents on daily closes, there's really nothing to get excited about. So I would probably look at 38 cents as the short-term resistance, unless Bitcoin wants to have a little relief for the new moon. That could send XRP to about 43, 44 cents, maybe even to the bottom of this trading range of 45. You're looking to about 42 to 45, followed by it rolling back over for the December new moon. So I'm going to leave it at that. I appreciate every single one of you. Like I said, I do have this sale going for Black Friday. It's watersabove.com/Black Friday, and the promo code is Black Friday, all one word, lowercase. It's very easy to apply it at checkout. You just have to click one of these buttons. You go through a couple screens, and it'll be a normal checkout screen with a coupon code box. And then you could just copy and paste this promo code into that box. Very simple, and I really appreciate all of your support. It's all love. I'm wishing you a beautiful rest of your day in the Matrix. Much love.